Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this Google Tag Manager guide for WordPress, you're going to learn how to install Google Tag Manager on your WordPress site using your theme or your plugin. So detailed timestamps below, along with a really in-depth course on how to install every tag that you could think of under the sun using Google Tag Manager, from Google Analytics to your Facebook pixel, all the way down to your Google Ads conversion tag. So link in the cards in the description to that video. And if you already understand the structure of Tag Manager, you already have your account set up, you just need it on your website, go ahead and jump to this timestamp and skip all of the introduction. So in terms of how Tag Manager is actually organized, when you create your account, think of your account as a company-wide account, and then your containers are going to be your individual websites, and then your tags are all of the individual tags you get from all the other platforms that want your website data, right? So at the very top level, when it comes to your account, you should be the only person who has access to it at the account level. So if you do anything with clients or you do anything with collaboration projects, those should always be a separate account, because nothing is retroactive when it comes to Tag Manager and your tracking. And then of course your containers, think of them just as your individual websites. So if you have subdomains, you should have the same container for that entire domain. I know I'll get one or two hate comments like, well, what about this situation? That's okay. When you're first installing, make sure that even if you have subdomains, and if subdomains doesn't make any sense, just gloss over the next 10 seconds here, but have the same Tag Manager container for an entire domain, an entire website. Even if you're using different services, you need all of those talking to each other. And then of course, inside the containers, you're going to have all of your tags. So hopefully that kind of gives you a nice brief overview. Let's go ahead and jump over to Tag Manager to actually create an account. So you can just Google search Tag Manager and you'll come to a page that looks something like this. You know, they're always changing it. So we'll go ahead and click on Start for Free. You can go ahead and log in. You can always change the account that has access to your account later. So it's not like this is a one and done decision. So I'll just go ahead and click on Next here, assume we logged in. And then if you already have access to accounts like this demo account we do, then you'll be able to see those accounts here. We'll go ahead and create a new one from scratch. So we'll go ahead and click on Create Account, and we'll give our account the company name. And then you can also check if you want to share data anonymously. I tend to just uncheck this, make sure your country is correct. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. Now the container name, this is going to be your website. You can have multiple containers, you can have multiple websites. And so this particular domain, a fake one by the way, I don't know if it actually works. We'll just go ahead and say Fresh Fans Academy, and then we're going to select web because it's a website. Obviously if it was an application or a server, then you'd select that. So we'll go ahead and scroll down here to click on Create. And then we have to accept the terms of service, all the fun stuff that Google's going to be doing in the background, tracking all of us, right? It's the downside of using free tools. So here we go. And we'll just go ahead and click on Yes. And then we have our Tag Manager code. Now, this is the code. This is the code that goes onto your WordPress site. So we're going to put one in the header tag, and we're going to put one in the body tag. Now, don't worry, we don't have to crack open the child theme of your website or touch any HTML to do this. In fact, if you're not comfortable doing that, then I don't recommend doing that, because you're probably just going to cause more problems than we're solving here. Now, before we move on, let's quickly go over how to get back to this, right? So, because this isn't the only time you're going to be able to access this information. So I'll just go ahead and click on OK here. And then if you ever need to get back to that code, all you need to do is click on your GTM ID up here. So we'll just go ahead and click on it. And now you have the information over again. So it's always accessible. It's not like this is the one time you're going to see it. But what I do recommend doing is, and I recommend doing this with all of your tags and some of your triggers, is to save it to your own internal documentation. So just save it to a Word doc or Google Doc, or you can download a copy of our Google Tag Manager Playbook. It's the same template we use to stay organized with ourselves and our clients, and everything that you start to add to Tag Manager as you become more and more advanced with your tracking. So I'll link that up in the description. Now, no matter what you do, just make sure you save it someplace, right? So now that you have the code, it's time to put it on every page of your website. And when it comes to WordPress, you have two options. You can either install it at the theme level, or you can install it using a plugin. Now, before we move on, the downside of using the theme route is if you have any other page builder plugins, like you have theme for your blog, and then you're using a page builder plugin for some of your landing pages or other pages, well, if you install it on the theme, it's not going to show up on the page builder pages because it's being managed by a different plugin. And so that might be why you want to use a plugin. But if you only have one theme, you don't have any page building plugins on your website, then go ahead and just use the theme. So first, we'll go through the theme install or one theme install. It should be similar for yours. If you want to use the plugin, here's the timestamp to just jump ahead to that. Let's go ahead and dive into WordPress. So inside of WordPress, I'm going to be using Thrive Themes as an example. Of course, every theme is different, but hopefully this will help you at least navigate through your own theme settings to figure out where you should be pasting this code. So inside of our WordPress dashboard here, I'm going to click on Thrive Dashboard, and then I'm going to click on Theme Options. So you want to find your theme options and your theme settings for whatever theme you have on your website. Let's see how many times I can say theme. I'm going to stop. Oh, okay, we'll stop here. So let's go ahead and click on Theme Options. Oh, did it again anyway. And under our options, we have Analytics and Scripts. So you're going to want to look for something like Analytics, Scripts, custom code, tracking, something to that effect. And when we click on it here, you'll see that we have a header script, an opening body script, and a body script. Now, Thrive Themes is focused on marketers, so they know that marketers want an opening body script. If you just have a body script and you don't have an opening body script, that's okay. Tag Manager will still work. So all we need to do here, again, please don't go into your child theme code settings like you might see in some other videos, because it's just you're really playing with fire there. So let's go ahead and jump back over to Google Tag Manager, and we're going to want to copy our header tag and our body tag, or we could go to our internal documentation, link in the description to copy ours, and then we'll paste it in. So that header goes into the header box, and the opening of the body goes into the opening of the body or the body. And then we can go ahead and click on Save Changes. We'll go through how to verify that the tag actually installed correctly. So we'll click on Save Changes here. And that's all there is to it, to setting up your tag manager with your theme. So if you did it this route, here's the timestamp to just jump ahead to verifying the install with the Chrome plugin. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the plugin install, which is what I recommend. Even though it has a downside, it does make sure that everything is installed correctly on your site. So let's jump back into WordPress here. And this time we're going to go ahead and click on plugins, and we're going to add a new plugin. So we'll add new, and we'll just search Tag Manager. And then this is the one that you want to install, Google Tag Manager for WordPress. Of course, there's some other really highly rated ones, but we found this one works really, really well. And it can also help with data layer things if you want to get advanced in the future. So we'll go ahead and click on install here, and we'll wait for it to load. We'll click on activate, and then we can come over here to settings and go down to Google Tag Manager. That's where it will show up once the plugin is activated. And then all we have to do is paste in our ID. So we don't actually have to have all the code, because this plugin knows what the code looks like. It just needs your ID. So we'll go ahead and copy our ID, and we will paste it in here. Now, a quick note before we click save, you'll notice that it says footer of the page not recommended by Google, no tweak to your template required. And this is simply a kind of duct tape method that they've worked around. It's an oversimplification, but it's not actually going to put the code in the right place. But the code will work. And the reason that they put it in the footer is because they want to make sure that no matter what themes or plugins or other scripts are running on your website, Tag Manager actually works. So is it the right way to install it? No, definitely not. Will it work? Yes. Will it make sure that your tracking doesn't get broken because one plugin developer does something really silly and another one does something else? Well, it's still going to work. So I don't know where I was going with that example. That was really silly. Anyway, just pointing that out, that just go ahead and leave it at footer. It will still work. So we'll go ahead and click on Save Changes here. And now it's time to verify the install. So whether you installed it on your theme or you use the plugin, there is a free Chrome plugin. We're talking about lots of plugins today. There's a free Chrome plugin to make sure to help you understand if the tag is on your site and if it's actually firing correctly. Now you're going to see that there's an error, but we'll get to why that's an error in a moment. So let's go ahead and search whatever Chromium-based browser you want to use. It will work. I'm just going to use Google Chrome here and go to Google, type in Google Tag Assistant, and we will add the plugin. Now, this is not to be confused Oh no, this is not to be confused with Google Tag Assistant in the preview mode, which we're not going to talk about. We want the Chrome plugin. So go ahead, and if you're watching other tutorials and they're talking about Tag Assistant, it looks completely different. That's a different tool. There's two tools that are named the same thing. All right, let's go ahead and click on Tag Assistant here. We'll go ahead and add to Chrome. And when it adds to Chrome for the first time, we'll just leave all of these checked and we'll click on Done. And then when you go to your website or even other websites, it's not going to automatically load. So what you'll have to do is go to your website and click on the plugin icon and then click Enable, and then it will actually work. So here we are at a sample website, and this is our home page. And so what we need to do is click on Enable and then refresh the page. So we will refresh the page, and now we'll click on it again, and you'll see that we have a red warning. Now, before we dive in, the good news is it's there. Tag Manager's there. It's on the site. So you've completed step one. So step number two is figuring out why it's not working correctly. And this will most likely, this can happen to you with your WordPress site if you don't have any tags inside of Tag Manager. So if we go in here and you see the error, it was aborted. Essentially what happened is Tag Manager is ready to go. The site loaded and said, okay guys, let's go ahead and load. Oh wait, there's no tags here. I guess there's nothing to do. And then it just doesn't fire, right? Because if there's no tags in the container, it won't fire. Okay, that was really silly. I don't know, my examples are just off today. So what you have to do is actually add a tag. So I'll link up in the cards in the description to that full-blown Google Master Tag Manager tutorial. Now, just as an example, let's say we went through and we added Google Analytics. So if I added Google Analytics and I refresh the page, all of a sudden Tag Manager will turn green. So again, link in the cards in the description of that video. But if you're seeing this error, Tag Manager's on your site. You're good to go. You just need to put something in the container so Tag Manager has something to do, because Tag Manager won't fire if there's no tags or triggers to fire in the first place. It's just like an empty box right now, right? So now I want to talk about errors that are an actual error where you don't know why on earth something's not working. And there are 4 colors that you need to be aware of when it comes to the errors that might show up. Only 2 of them are really actually important. So green means it's working, it's good to go, and it's a standard install. Blue means it's working and it's good to go, and it's not a standard install. So if you use the plugin, you might see that the Tag Manager tag is blue. Now, blue and green means you're good to go. You really don't have to worry about it. Don't obsess over trying to get everything green. As long as it's blue, it's good to go. Now, yellow means there's some sort of data collection issue, and red means the thing's just straight up not working. So for the most part, yellow, you're going to find that it's going to be a personal issue with your particular browser. It might be blocking some cookies or blocking something from firing, and it's normally not a big deal. Red, on the other hand, means yes, something's really broken and we need to fix it. And so you can always click on the tag that is yellow or red, and then at the bottom here, you're going to see a long stream of text that makes no sense. All you have to do is just search Google for those, because thousands of other people have had the exact same problem. And while it's not really fun going through Google Forms, after 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to have a pretty good idea of what went wrong, so you can go ahead and go fix it. And that is all there is to it, to getting started with Tag Manager and WordPress. So comment below with any of your questions or any errors that come up. We do work our best to read and reply to every single one. Hit that like button, subscribe for more marketing videos just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.